My spokesmodel today is Ben. Yeah. And he'll be practicing in front of the camera today to ensure where you are. And folks in the studio, mask is an option for you. Everyone in the room is vaccinated. It is the policy of the studio now. So you work with whatever you're working with. Okay. And as you settle into your seat, rest your eyes closed. Beginning to find the breath wherever it may be right now. Allow it. And as you begin to grow that relationship with the breath, scan the body, get a sense of how it feels today. While there may be nothing specific that you're working with in the body, just get a sense of any of those areas where you're holding a little tight. We're always looking for that place between too much and too little. And oftentimes when we're holding tight, it's a habitual pattern for us. Quite often we don't notice it anymore. It's just the way it is. So if you run across any of those areas, acknowledge that it's there. And avoid that impulse to add any storyline to it. Just allowing it. Sensation always transient, and provided it's not sharp stabbing pains, we allow ourselves to be with the sensation, recognizing that it will shift and change. And in that same way, the thoughts. As it initially rolls through the mind, we often cling on to it, ruminate over it. But just as the sensation in the body, thoughts are transient as well, flowing in and moving on. And while we deepen the relationship with the breath, we're not deepening the relationship with the thoughts. We're seeing that they're there and allowing them to move by. Starting to steady yourself. Bring the hands together in front of your heart and take a moment to set your intention for your practice today, or perhaps offer it up in dedication to someone in your life. Keeping your eyes closed, let's bring this community together with a single Om, drawing the breath in. Very nice. Let's find a child's pose. And for those of you in the studio today, as I move around the studio, one, will be wearing my mask, and two, I do offer hands-on adjustments, especially for those of you new in the studio today. If you do not want to be touched today, whether you've been here before or not, take your right hand to the back of your skull. If they aren't already, extend the arms alongside your ears. You'll rise up to hands, knees, your wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. A nice spread to the fingers here. The inhale will lift the head and tail, belly will drop into cow pose, and exhale, arch your spine into cat. And inhaling cow pose, exhaling cat, and continuing on your own. Really integrating into the movement here. Allow it to be your guide. As you feel yourself opening up the body, go ahead and add any of your own movement into this. It might be a wag to your tail, roll of the head, roll of the shoulders. You decide what your body needs today. And take 3 more rounds of breath wherever you are, and you'll come back to neutral spine. As we make our way back, neutral spine, we'll thread the needle, left fingers reaching up to the sky. And as you exhale, reach arm underneath you, release the left shoulder and cheek to the ground. And you choose what you'd like to do with the right arm. Right fingers can slide to the top of your mat. You can take a half bind, dropping the arm behind you. You could stack the palms. Remember, what you choose in the initial doesn't necessarily mean that you remain there. You can change it if it's no longer serving. Right hand slides back in front of the face, press the ground away, send your left fingers up to the sky, and swim the hand back to the mat. We'll set our hips back toward the heels, finding child pose once again. This time, though, you'll lift the gaze between the thumbs, glide your chest out along the mat, and find an easy cobra pose. It doesn't need to be your fullest expression of it. And press the hips back to the heels for child's pose. And with the next inhale, rise up to the hands and the knees. Your right fingers will reach up to the sky. As you exhale, right arm reaches underneath, right shoulder, cheek release to the ground. Whatever you chose with the arm on the other side, even things out here. Left hand returns in front of the face, press the ground away, send your right fingers up to the sky as a counter twist. Swim the hand back to the mat, settling back once again into your child's pose. Lift the gaze between the thumbs, glide your chest out along the mat, find your cobra pose. And exhale, hips back to the heels for child's pose, and you'll tuck the toes under, sending your hips up to the sky for downward facing dog. As the first of the day, go ahead and add any movement into it that will serve your body today. That go-to of the pedaling of feet. Perhaps bend both knees deeply and move your belly and chest close to tops of heads. Maybe it's bending out of your mat to the other, and even taking it to the fingers, rooting down into the knuckle of the index finger. Nice external rotation of your upper arm here across the spine is long. Belly, chest moving closer to the tops of your legs. Your feet hip distance apart. Inner thighs moving away from you to extend the legs. Your gaze can be between the feet toward the knees or even up toward the navel. Let's check the length of our down dog with a roll out to plank pose. Shoulders will be above or slightly forward of your wrists, navel pulling in toward the spine, tailbone moving toward the wall behind you. And if you moved your hands or feet at all as you rolled out to plank, keep them where they are now and send the hips back up to the sky for down dog. And inhale out to plank pose. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale out to plank pose. And exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale out to plank pose. Release your knees to the ground. Chest and chin between your hands. Butt is high, elbows snug to the ribs. Glide out with an inhale to cobra. Exhale through bent knees into downward facing dog. 2 more times like that. Inhale out to plank. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Cobra with the inhale. Through bent knees into down dog as you exhale. Last time, yogis, will be on your own. Extend our right leg high to the sky. On the exhalation, step the right foot forward between your hands. Once the foot is settled in, send the right fingers up to the sky, pressing the ground away with the left hand. Keep the front side of the body open and long. And right hand returns to the ground. Step to the top of your mat and fold. Grab your elbows when you reach the top of the mat. Shake the head yes, shake the head no, shake the head maybe. Coming back to stillness, release your elbows and place a soft bend into the knees and slowly roll your way up to stand. Allow the crown of the head to rise up last. Finding your mountain pose. Feet can be hip distance apart or side by side. Balls of the feet touching, slight space between the heels. Inner arches of the feet lifting up the inseams of the legs. Quads engaged here to lift the kneecaps up. Maybe lift the front of the pelvis so you get a little more space in the lower back. Shoulder blades moving toward one another on the back. Take an inhale, bring your shoulders up to the ears. With your exhale, let the shoulders slide down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, roll them down and back. And one more time, inhale and exhale. Your right arm will extend alongside your right ear. Left fingers slide down toward the left knee, taking a nice arc through the right side of the body. Inhale, rising back up to center. Arms come behind you. Interlace the fingers, press the knuckles down toward the ground, and then soften your knees, hinge at the hips, and fold yourself forward. Arms coming away from the back. If you need to, soften the knees a bit here to help move the belly and chest closer to the tops of your thighs. Release your hands to the ground. With an inhale, lengthen out halfway. Ardha Uttanasana. With your exhalation, step the right foot to the back of your mat. Left foot back to meet it, finding a plank pose. And you choose. It can be knees, chest, chin, or halfway down, chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. And send the left leg high to the sky. Left foot forward between the hands. And remember, if it doesn't make it between the hands, pick it up at the ankle and set it down, and send your left fingers up to the sky. Ground presses away through that right hand. Left hand to the ground. Step to the top of your mat and fold. You can grab the elbows again or interlace fingers behind your neck, pinkies at the base of the skull. Little sway from side to side, no matter what you choose. Coming back to stillness, releasing your clasp and slowly roll your way up to stand. Allow the crown of the head to come up last. With your next inhale, bring your shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, slide them down the back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And one more. Inhale. And as you exhale, let everything slip away. Left hand, left arm alongside your left ear. Right fingers sliding down toward the right knee. Rising back up, arms come behind, interlace. Maybe try the opposite interlace this time. And exhale, forward fold. Release your hands to the ground. With an inhale, lengthen out halfway. With your exhale, step your left foot to the back of the mat. Right foot back to meet it, finding a plank pose. And your choice, knees, chest, chin, or halfway down. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. As we move through this to jump back in your practice, but stepping back is always perfect. If you're playing along with music at home, you can start that now. Send your right leg high to the sky. Right foot forward between your hands. Send your right fingers up to the sky. Right hand meets the ground. Step to the top of your mat and fold. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step or float back to bent elbows. Up dog with your inhalation. Down dog with your exhalation. Left leg high. Left foot forward. Left fingers reach to the sky. Left hand to the ground. Step to the top of your mat and fold. Inhale, reach up high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step or jump back to bent elbows. Up dog with your inhalation. Down dog with your exhalation. Send the right leg high, step the right foot forward, send the right fingers up to the sky. Right hand to the ground, standing split, send the left leg high. Chair pose with your inhalation, sit the hips back. Forward fold with your exhalation. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step or float back and move through your vinyasa. Send the left leg high to the sky. Left foot forward between the hands. Left fingers reach to the ceiling. Left hand to the ground, standing split. Send your right leg high. Chair pose, sit the hips back with your inhale. Forward fold as you exhale. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step or jump back to bent elbows. Up dog, down dog. One more round just like that. Right leg high, right foot forward, right fingers reach to the sky. Right hand to the ground, standing split. And chair pose at the top of your mat. Forward fold as you exhale. Inhale halfway. Exhale, float back to your bent elbows. Up dog, down dog. Left side, left leg high, left foot forward. Left fingers reach to the sky. Left hand to the ground, standing split, right leg flies high. Chair pose, sit your hips back. Forward fold as you exhale. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, jump back to chaturanga. Up dog, down dog. As always, noticing where the breath is right now. Noticing any heat you created in the body. Send your right leg high to the sky. Right foot forward between your hands. Send the right fingers up to the sky. Right hand to the ground, standing split. Send your left leg high to the sky. Maybe grab the ankle or the calf, something that will draw you in a little bit deeper here. And relax the back of the neck if you can. Chair pose at the top of your mat. Sit the hips back. Long arms framing the ears. You'll reach down for your left knee, rising up with it tall. Yogi's choice, right hand can be with the knee, left arm reaches behind you, or right hand reaches for the outside edge of the foot, and left arm reaches behind you. Left arm comes forward, left leg, send it behind you, warrior three. Your fingertips can be on blocks at the top of your mat. Bring them up to their highest level. We're working to get that left hip in line with the right. And with control, high lunge as you release those left toes behind you. Strong arms framing the ears. Virtually no shift in the hips here. Warrior two as you spiral the back foot to the ground. So we're looking to have our front knee over the ankle. Nice external rotation happening in the front thigh. Come into the outer edge of the back foot. Lift that arch up the inseam of the leg. Tip it back, peaceful warrior. Your extended side angle, it can be forearm on top of that front thigh. It can be hand to the inside or outside of the front foot. Either way, send that left arm alongside your left ear, creating a nice long line from the outer edge of the back foot up through your left fingertips. Inhale, reach up and back, peaceful warrior. Front leg will extend, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Leaning back here, softening the shoulder from the ears if you can. Warrior two is up and soften into the front knee. Peaceful warrior and reach back. Cartwheel your hands around the front foot. Yogi's choice, full expression of side plank, rolling to the outer edge of that left foot, or left knee can be under the left hip. Right arm, send it alongside your right ear. Lift the right leg away from the left. Rock star, wild thing, whatever you call this, dropping the right toes behind you. Right hand returns to the ground. Vinyasa, your way. I'll meet you back in down dog. Send your left leg left forward between your hands. Send the left fingers up to the sky. Left hand to the ground, standing split. Send that right leg high up to the sky. Chair pose at the top of your mat. Sit your hips back. And reach down for your right knee, rising up with it tall. Yogi's choice, left hand on the knee or left hand grabs the outside edge of the foot. If you got the foot, press the heel forward, send the right arm behind you. Right arm, sweep it forward, warrior three, any arm variation that serves you, super person arms, prayer at the heart, arms next to the ears. With control, high lunge as those right toes release deep to the back of your mat. Warrior two as that back foot spirals to the ground. Torso rising right above the pelvis here. So if you get a sense you're leaning out into the future over the front leg, come back to now. Tip it back. And you extended side angle, forearm to the top of the thigh, or hand inside of the front foot. Ben's reaching through his fingertips, creating a nice long line back foot all the way through the fingertip. Inhale, reach up and back, peaceful warrior. And triangle pose, Trikonasana. a nice spiral his torso here, allowing the left wrist to ceiling. Rise up, warrior two. Peaceful as you reach back. And cartwheel the hands around the front foot, your version of Vashisthasana side plank, knee under the hip, or stack up the legs. Send the left arm alongside your left ear. Lift the left leg away from the right. Rock star as you drop the toes behind you, heart and hips opening up to the sky. Rock star. Left hand to the ground, yogis. Vinyasa your way. I'll meet you back in downward facing dog. Slowly, as if it's a walking meditation, begin to walk your feet to the top of your mat. As you reach the top of the mat, slowly roll your way up to stand. And as you rise up, step the feet about hip distance apart if they aren't already, and you'll reach down for your right knee, and you'll grab the big toe here. You'll press the heel forward and rotate the leg out to the side. Left hand on the hip or left arm can reach away from you. You'll draw that right leg back to the midline. You'll place the right ankle on top of the left knee. You'll sit the hips down, moving toward a chair, and bring the hands together in front of your heart. Flex those right toes back toward the right knee and energetically move that right knee down toward the ground. Rising all the way up to stand, both feet meet the ground, hands in front of your heart, rest your eyes closed. So for a moment, just based on your experience in that pose, are you still honoring your intention that you set at the beginning of this class? So often as we start to move through our day, week, year, those intentions we set for ourselves get set off to the side. Not always intentionally. So we constantly need to remind ourselves of that. As you open your eyes, shift the weight into your right foot and bring that left knee up. And again, it can be knee bent as you draw it to the side, or grab the big toe, heel forward, rotate the leg out to the side. Draw the leg back to center. Left ankle comes on top of the right knee. Prayer in front of the heart. Sit the hips down, really to tap into the hip opening here. As you rise up, yogis, release the foot to the ground, hands in front of your heart, rest your eyes closed. And if on that second side you were able to tap back into the intention that you set for yourself, acknowledge yourself for that effort. As you open your eyes, bend your knees, sit your hips back, find your chair pose. You're going to bend your knees really deeply, lower your butt all the way down to the ground. And we're going to find Navasana, boat pose. Imagining that idea of a string on the sternum lifting you up toward the ceiling. If you're watching this at home, Ben's got his hands to the backs of his legs. Often, awesome way to support this. Legs can be long or knees bent with or without the hands on the backs of the legs. Hug your knees up into your chest. Roll yourself down onto your back. Make little circles here with the knees, clockwise, counterclockwise. And release your feet to the ground, hip distance apart. We're going to find a bridge pose in the initial. So head and shoulders remaining to the ground as you press your feet into the mat, lifting the hips up. Ben's interlaced his fingers underneath him, but you can also grab the outer edges of your mat. Lowering the body down to the ground. Step your feet as wide as the mat and windshield wiper your shins from side to side. Bring the knees back to center, reset the feet. You can find a second bridge pose. You can find a supported bridge. If you're hankering to find your wheel pose today, now's the time. And releasing yourself down to the ground. Hug your knees into your chest. Breathe the outer edges of your feet. Find your happy baby. Additionally, if you want, you can grab the big toes and press the heels to either side of your room, extending out through the legs. Hug your knees up into the chest. Draw your nose up to the knees. A rock forward and back along the spine, right up to your seat. And you'll bring the soles of the feet together. Let's find Tarasana, so big diamond shape with the legs. And I like to slide my forearms underneath the calves here, offering me a little leverage to release the forehead to the arches of the feet. If you're not making that connection today, just bring a block or two, however many it might take to make that connection. We're always making the effort to complete the circuitry here. Complete that energy pulsing through the body. Rising up tall, slide your left leg out long in front of you. Right foot is to the inner left thigh here. Squint ourselves over the long leg. Take the journey down. Lift yourself up tall. And Ben's going to bring his right knee up into his chest. He's going to step the right foot outside his left leg. You can keep the left leg long, or you can find a more traditional seated spinal twist. He's going to twist off to his right side. Rising back through center, countering to the other side. Back to your midline. And yogi's choice. You'll take Gomukhasana legs, bending deeply into that right knee, or you can take your ankle to knee pose, right shin on top of the left. You decide what the body needs. When you're set, fold yourself forward. Lifting yourself up tall. You'll slide your right leg out long in front of you. You'll slide the left foot to the inner right thigh, square on the long leg, and take the journey down. Let's switch it up. Lift yourself up tall. Bring the left knee up into the chest. Step the left foot outside the right leg. Bring that heel back. You chose it on the other side. We're all going to twist off to our left side. Coming back to center, counter to the other side. Back to your midline, your hip opener, Gomukhasana legs or ankle to knee pose. Once you're set, fold yourself forward. Lifting up. Extend both legs out long in front of you. Adjust the flesh under the seat. Send your arms alongside your ears and fold forward. Rising up tall. Return yourself onto your back. Have one of your blocks within reach. Feet will come flat to the ground, and you'll reach for the block. And at its lowest level, slide it under the sacrum. Then extend the legs so that the soles of your feet face up toward the ceiling. Bend knees, releasing the feet to the ground. Lift the hips away from the block, slip it off to the side. Then extend the body out long onto your mat, setting up for your resting pose. Doing part of your practice is complete. So be. Bring the awareness back to the breath. Wake the body with some movement into the fingers and the toes, your wrists, your ankles. Light rock to the head, side to side. Reach your arms alongside your ears, stretch. Place your feet to the ground. And softly roll to your right side. Keeping your eyes closed, make your way up to your comfortable seat. Bring the hands in front of your heart. Like where we hold stuff in our body, oftentimes our mental states are habitual patterns as well. This mat allows us to reveal some of that, to discover it. And when we discover it, we can shift it if it's not serving us and serving the world around us. So certainly keep coming onto the mat, but in the same vein, practice doesn't end when we step off the mat, it just begins. So keep practicing as you step out into the world. Notice those habitual patterns physically, but most importantly, mentally. May all beings have happiness. May all beings have joy. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. As always, deep love and gratitude for sharing your practice with me today. Bowing to the divine in all of us. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, folks. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Enjoy your weekend.